Hi, this is Ken Hunter. I am with the city of Rocky Mount. I have also been working on the campaign as part of Google Twin Counties to help bring Google's fiber initiative and ultra high speed internet service here to the Rocky Mount area. We are only a few hours away from the deadline that Google has set for nominations from cities as well as nominations on behalf of community residents and businesses. It has been an extremely time consuming and time and life draining effort on behalf of a lot of us. There are a lot of great people who have been involved in this. I've just now had time to do my own nomination video. I did put together the city's nomination that I submitted here just a few minutes ago. Rocky Mount will be one of approximately 600 cities so far that have submitted nominations. I imagine there'll probably be about 1,000 nationwide when we're done. I also want to thank all of the residents, business owners, students, entrepreneurs, anyone who filled out a community nomination on behalf of Rocky Mount. According to a blog post that Google sent out today, they've received about 190,000 so far. And if we meet our goal of 1,000, that's going to be a pretty sizable chunk of those nominations coming here from the Rocky Mount area, especially when you consider that we have a population here in Rocky Mount of 60,000, as well as a metro population of about 150,000. Still, when you think of other cities out there like Grand Rapids, Michigan, Asheville, North Carolina, even some cities out on the West Coast that have been making big efforts to get the name out publicly, I think in the end you'll see that our nomination submissions to Google are probably in the same ballpark with theirs. I want to kind of give you an idea of what I think can be of best benefit to Rocky Mount in this area if we bring Google's project here to Rocky Mount. As you can see here, Google is something we already are using with the city. This is actually, and this is more I think for the standpoint of our residents who may not be familiar with this, the Gmail product that you know that Google offers actually is available to businesses through a service that's called Google Apps. You can actually go to apps.google.com, I believe, or you can just go to Google and type in Google Apps, and the service that businesses, nonprofits, or individuals can subscribe to. The city is actually testing it right now. The city moved its a lot of its internet email storage over to this service because it's a great it alleviates a lot of stress on our networks. We're also testing the idea of using a browser interface similar to Gmail for accessing city email. And that's just an example. That's just a video I received, I received from Allison Sykes, the Google Twin Counties marketing manager here very recently, reminding us to get our nominations in. We also have been using Google Sites a lot. Try to see if I can bring up an example. We actually use Google Sites here in the city. We've been doing a lot of work with IT governance, and I apologize for this. And give you one example. We actually recently initiated some improved governance policies with information technology, and this is one of the Google Sites that we are using to kind of help facilitate communication between members of the various governance teams within the city. This is the city leadership team, which is made up of department heads. Not much information here yet because the site was just created in the last couple of weeks, but it will be used a lot with respect to our continued development of this program. We also, some of us here on staff are using Google Documents. I actually use Google Docs and I'm actually trying to set up Google Apps right now for an organization that I serve as president of, and that's the Young Professionals Network of Rocky Mount. We feel that it's the best way for us to be able to put together our meeting minutes as well as share governance documents, financial statements, and other information. And so we're trying to do our best to use these applications that Google offers. And we realize that all of these applications require internet access. It's kind of funny. City of Rocky Mount has about 1,000 employees, part-time and full-time, maybe even more during the case of the summer. We provide services for more than 60,000 residents. We have numerous buildings around the city. We tie as many of them as we can to a fiber optic network that we maintain on our municipally owned power lines. We are a municipal electric provider. And we actually only have, in terms of internet access, about 8 megabits per second total within the city. And we do that. We not only run our network, but also our ERP, our billing systems, all of our internet or network needs in terms of external network access to the internet for the entire city is done 8 megabits per second. And we make it work but it does pose some challenges, especially if I'm going to try to upload this video here before the deadline. I don't have a lot of time, so I got to really make this quick. There are a lot of benefits that this project can have from people within the city. From the standpoint of the government, my job with the city is budget manager. I'm responsible for preparing, and let me see if I have a copy of it here. This document here, it's the, you may not get a good shot of this. This is our annual budget. This is for the current fiscal year. I'm currently getting the fiscal 11 budget ready, along with trying to work on this campaign and some other things. And we realized that one of our biggest costs is for mobile broadband access. You know, we do issue a lot of air cards, particularly for our mobile data terminals and our police cars. It's something we're going to hopefully expand in the future to our fire trucks. And right now, in order to provide mobile broadband to these customers, to our police officers and firefighters potentially, we have to use air cards provided by a company like Verizon. That's not a bad deal, but still we're paying about $40 a month for each of those air cards. If we had the ability to have the kind of bandwidth made possible through an investment like Google's, and have that as a business customer or as a large business customer, we could look at developing our own WiMAX network, because the cost of the bandwidth would be perhaps low enough. Maybe the economies of scale would work to our favor to where we could start looking at building our own networks so that we could reduce those costs. We understand it's important to continue to work with ISPs as our partners. We don't believe that necessarily the government should own the internet. We don't believe that that should be the case. We recognize that we should be a consumer just like everyone else, and we actually applaud what Google's trying to do by not necessarily going into the internet business for themselves as a direct customer provider, but working with other providers, including maybe perhaps our existing ISPs here, CenturyLink and Suddenlink. As president of YPN, and thinking about how this would benefit fellow young professionals, those who are either starting their careers in their 20s, are coming here to take middle management promotions in their 30s, or those who may have new ideas for businesses, or simply trying to continue to grow and develop themselves professionally and personally. Really what the internet is that it is the infrastructure requirement of the 21st century for virtually any city that seeks to to serve as an economic center. And we recognize this here in Rocky Mount. It is a challenge for us to do it on our own. We really like the fact that we've been able to use this campaign as an opportunity to draw public awareness to this issue. And you know, whether or not Google decides to participate, we know that we've created a conscience within our community regarding this particular issue, and that with the possibility for future investors to provide a service come along, we'll be able to show to them, hey, this is of importance to our residents, and this is something that you can think about offering to them. I guess I need to wrap it up here pretty quick. I do want to say, on behalf of Young Professionals Network, of which I'm president, on behalf of the city, of which I'm serve as budget manager, we want to thank Google for making this opportunity available, for allowing the threshold to be so that a city like Rocky Mount, that can in many ways offer the perfect test market across demographics, across geography of communities, large, small, urban, rural, dense, sparse. We feel that we offer the perfect test market for this project. We wish Google all the best in their evaluation of the hundreds of cities that have come forward, and we really want for you to choose us, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.